Okay, we're back. Let me just rush through this stuff. There we go. Oh, joy. Alright. Hmm. Hmm. Fine. I definitely need some reducers to disease in the city. Wow, it might actually go... Well, okay, the brothel is not going to help, but the rest of the buildings might actually bring it down to 0. And then even the common cold won't be a problem. And that's gold standard right there. Not literally. Although we probably are running on the gold standard, considering I just swapped to coinage. Anyway, let's talk a bit more fun, interesting history. Coinage. Fairly obviously, this one has a long and storied history to it. So I'll just be going over broad swaths of early historical knowledge. At least what we think happened in early history, which is never 100% accurate, because of reasons. Good reasons, but still reasons. It's always funny to hear that sound. Yeah, there still isn't any new Byzantine city on this side of their island. It's honestly a bit strange. I've been expecting them to build a city for a while, but they still haven't done it, which is mildly concerning. But yeah, currency. It, like so many other things, has a long and storied history to it. Leech Catcher, Sweat Lodge, Warmer, Ice House, Ancient Pit. There. That should be reasonable for the city. The concept of a currency has existed for a very long time. Barter never truly existed. I need to hammer this out. Barter did not exist. Does not happen. Every time some sort of economy comes through, either we have a concept of a currency or we don't. And we never ever trade one-to-one on disparate goods. It's always either a general conception of being indebted to others. Oops. Nah, indebted to others. And perhaps some other aspects. We've always had something that we've considered valuable enough to treat as a currency when we do feel the need to have a currency. Because tribal economies ran off a combination of two things. First, for people in trust, it was a mix between a gift economy and a debt economy. Obviously, in matters of survival, you often need to ensure that everyone else survives. Because, well, if you don't do that, what happens? So, yeah, generally speaking, The idea is, it is in your best interest that other people in the tribe survive, and they do so by your help. Because what happens is when something bad happens to you and you're in a spot of trouble, but everyone thinks, you know, oh, you never actually did anything to help us. In other words, if the tribe thinks that there's no good reason to help you in your time of trouble, there's a very decent chance that you'll die. So it is absolutely in your best interest to make it as unlikely as possible that you get left out in the cold. And this is honestly a major thing that has to be cited as part of the concept of why a gift economy can work in the first place, as well as a debt economy. The main difference between a gift economy and a debt economy is that in a debt economy, debt is fairly meticulously tracked and remembered. A gift economy still has this conception of debt, but it's not that important because people trust each other. Within a small tribe, this can absolutely be easily achieved, but as institutions grow, this becomes a little more difficult to do so. But it is still eventually possible. It's just, as I said, not easy. Outside of trusted individuals, though, which usually means people from other tribes, instead, the big idea is the trade of something valuable. That is considered valuable by a lot of people. And usually the most consistent thing is shiny object that's not very perishable. This accounts for a surprising number of things, but most commonly, one of the most common ones is the cowrie shell. Which is a small shell that's not super duper easy to find, but is non-perishable. So, a lot of the potential issues gone. Small, lightweight, fairly pretty, which makes it hugely better than a lot of other options. Metals are really valuable, especially when you talk about the less useful metals, like gold or silver, which are heavy and, well, there are much better tool metals out there. So stuff like, iron, copper, bronze, those are far more likely to be used for tools than any of the other options. And that's simply due to the nature of how the metals are. And, personal interests. Just usually a good reason for a lot of things. That's the simplest way to put it. It's always the simplest way to put it. And oftentimes, it's the most accurate. It's annoying that the flying animals can go onto ice like that. And of course, this worked fairly well. However, it gets annoying, especially, well, raw metal is heavy. And you need to weigh it in order to be certain of its value, which can get really annoying, especially once people decide to start counterfeiting metals. That's where things get real fun. because if you mix in less valuable metals, then it becomes tough to tell whether or not, someone's trying to trick you. Again, the whole issue is trust. In order for a currency to work, you need to trust whatever is behind it. The value of the metals contained within it, the, well, rarity of whatever you're carrying, etc. And counterfeiting makes it, yeah, impossible to accurately tell. This is, to some degree, helped out by having the concept of coinage.
About the rule of righteousness in the land, so that the strong should not harm the weak.
Courthouse is another thing that can really help deal with crime. Nah. The concept of coinage really helps with this because, for a multitude of reasons. The biggest one is size consistency. The earliest coins were in a bit of a... It makes sense, but it's kind of funny. Were quite simply put, metals casted into the shape of cowrie shells. Or casted over cowrie shells. Basically, fake cowrie shells. That looked like the same but were made of metal, rather than, I think keratin? Whatever it is that shells are made out of. Anyway, great engineer. Okay, so I can... Oh, the national standard of measurement is, okay. I need to pick a city that can handle it. Size of at least 3. Okay. You're unlikely to have anything, so... Yes. Coinage helps by making it so that there is at least a degree of standardization in size. And while the concept of density, it takes a while in history for the true concept of density to really be fully understood. It's pretty easy to follow that a small thing made of the same material is going to weigh less than a big thing made of the same material. So if a coin is of the same size, then it really should be about the same weight, right? And that helps with counterfeiting. Of course, a consistent operation of making these coins is, well, interesting, to say the least. And may have some difficulty involved. And, it's just much easier to shape it into like a square or a disc. Like how most ancient coins are? There we go, national standard of measurement. Plus 10% production, plus 5% food in every city. As well as 2% more money and science. So nice. I should I should definitely see an increase in science if it didn't already happen. Steel. And while yes, this works with the whole coiners thing, it only really works super duper well if all the coins are the same size. Which, considering the number of standards involved with internet stuff, this can be insanely difficult to achieve. Have you ever heard jokes about how many standards there are? They're not completely wrong. It gets bad. Really, really fast. Yeah. So currency, and well, honestly, there is also the whole exchanging thing that happens in modern day as a partial analog to this sort of a thing. It can be extremely difficult to deal with exchanges and exchange rates, etc. Thylacine remains, more thylacine remains, there's plenty of thylacines to go around. Yeah. This is in part a big reason why the, well, states ended up taking over the process. Because they had the power and means to enforce a consistent currency across a large or small territory. Oh, and there was also the fact that it was a great source of national prestige if they can, you know, maybe plaster the face of the monarch on every little metal disc that everyone uses to trade. Maybe. And of course, this sort of thing was really common, and honestly, kind of lacked creativity. Practically every country did this. Every state that started using metal coins ended up doing this at some point or another. So, you know, ego much? Tales of Humpback Whale. That, I'm not sure if I already have Leviathan. Tales. I will have to see. So I probably should also double check first to see if there's more slicing. Aha, yeah. I remember that city not having the sales requirement. Because it didn't build it yet. Okay, that's enough of that. Oh, a new source of tin ore. Hmm. Oh yeah, now that I can build the courthouse. So, baiting ritual, laundry hut, sweat lodge, ancient bomber, ice house, ancient vet. But yes, having all those tablet makers should help with money. Oh yes, I should wake up one of the workers. And hope I don't end up getting killed by a cobra. That would also be very nice. Good. Situation stable for now. Drat. There was no need to move you. Still 100% subdue chance. Salesman sounds good. Take preserve. Dink, dink. Buffalo herd. Worker military standard. Yeah, it does look like I need to eventually... Fine, I'll do it now. Does seem like the Reefs are getting quite a bit of interest from the citizens, so it's a smart idea to go ahead and... Well, someone died to a Barbary macaque. That must be a bit embarrassing. I need to build 8 Colosseums for that quest to be completed. Still 100% subdue chance, so... Combat 5! It is funny when those sounds stack like that. More Thaliacine remains. Can't get enough of those, apparently. Huh. That one hasn't had a rodent yet. There we go. It's becoming increasingly difficult to actually click that properly. Gem cutter. Lacquer mill maker. Let me check out the wonders. Is there a good one? Emo egg carver. Grand Sky Festival. Himitsu? I mean, there is a mechanism. Hmm. Grand Earth Festival. Sure. Yeah, let's go with Serpent Mound. More signs would be nice. There's some Grove, Straw Gatherer, Conquered. It's a bit weird not to have those first two, but okay. Apparently the default one reason or
It
nothing.
has been said that democracy is the worst form of government, except all the others that have been tried.
Oh, time to get a few turns of anarchy. See here. Legislature. I'm not sure how that's going to affect my maintenance costs. I don't know, I'm not going to save for another 24 turns. That means that city stuff isn't going to happen for a long, long while. Probably be safely ignored for a bit. Eh. Folklore, humpback whale. Oh, okay, that's a new folklore. That's fine by me. Any new folklore spreads to every city immediately, so. Any elephant herds necessary? Oh, right, here. The new city. No birds, of course not. Also fun when it comes to the history of currency is the multiple attempts to try to get off of coinage. It's hilariously similar to the history of early agriculture. Except instead of no one actually trying to get off agriculture, because, you know, that would be atrociously bad, there were multiple attempts at trying to get off of coinage. Usually state-backed attempts. Almost always it was an attempt at paper money, which is, you know, fun. And it was never particularly well prepared. Yeah. I'm not sure how exactly to put this. We know of multiple attempts to do so. One of the earliest was attempted in China. Yikes. I think it was, yeah, during the Yuan Empire was one of the first ones. I believe it was called flying money. Because of how easily it fluttered away in the wind. Cocoa! Cool. But yeah, pretty much every initial attempt at paper money usually involved in skyrocketing inflation. And it got bad fast. It's actually not that different from metal currency, because metal currency generally has the same set of issues. Remixed. Because the value of currency fluctuated wildly depending on how much gold was on the value of gold. Usually depending on how much gold was in the economy. It's pretty easy to get the picture of what happened. Yeah. Gold is... So, and under most circumstances, the ability for an economy to generate the metals necessary for coinage did not match the actual growth of said economy. So if there were no new gold mines in a while, well, the value of currency went up. Because there were no metals to work that could work the minting process. That could be used for, yeah, that could be printed into coins, pressed into coins, however it is termed. And when, you know, a gold rush happened for one reason or another, that's when things got extra fun, because suddenly the value of gold decreased. So that's when inflation happened. The other aspect, where the value of a coin skyrocketed, is called deflation. And pretty much every modern economist agrees that inflation is bothersome. Deflation is catastrophic. You do not want deflation to occur because it causes so many issues. It's not even funny. Outside of a bit of, you know, schadenfreude, that sort of a thing. Hopefully the anarchy doesn't last too long, because that might actually cause my borders to shrink. Which is a very funny thought. But entirely true. If I'm not that careful with energy limits, yeah. It is an extremely silly way to think of it, but it's not wrong. It's funny because it's true. There. I said it. Elephant herd. Dink dink. Oh, I probably should have sent those up to Port Vila. Oh, deer herd. Oh yeah, the location doesn't actually have a carnival yet. Nope, okay. None of them can do the dances. Okay. Sad. Oh, a dart frog. Those are all, well, then again, sadly, there's not very many amphibian. There's no amphibian pond slots over here. Unless the Governor's Menagerie counts enough. Nope. I don't actually have a transport at the moment. I can cross the water, so. I guess I can farm around the crater. Something. So there's nothing actually dangerous in that stack. It's quite a bit of silver being mined there. Still 100% subdue chance. Okay. Oh, wait. Right, bears. Shoot. There, it's over. Income's looking good. Excellent. Or at least reasonable. Great. So I do need bears in the city. I need bears in multiple locations, actually. Bears are one of the types of enclosures that can be built with just the menagerie. There we go, workboat's done. Even if it's an ancient workboat, it still does the job that I needed to do. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah, this is a Great Barrier Reef. Don't I get a special wonder for this? No? Has it already been built? No? Oops. But the beacon will help things. That's no copy. Okay. Alright, let's get you over here. Homing pigeon. Cool. Ah. Now it becomes extra important to build home to find pigeons. Mushrooms. And an ostrich farm. Yeah, probably should get a community garden set up. And off with the brothel and some disease reduction. Like an actual burial tradition, I am surprised I haven't gotten one of those out. There. All right. I was so focused on getting the production of the city available for use.
Always write angry letters to your enemies. Never mail them.
If you're worried about how many animals I'm going through every turn, don't worry. Animal spawn rates will start to turn down later on down the line. But for now, this is the reality we're going to have to deal with. And there's not really anything that can be done to avoid it. Sadly. Well, you're done for the time being. Oh, hey, a pigeon. Well, new city with a carnival. Excellent. On the old... on the Ethiopian continent. Yeah, that town's gonna be just plain more valuable than the others of 09. Same amount of food, one more production and commerce. Resulting in the effects that you would probably expect to have. Oh no. Not this again. Okay, where's my hunter? Where's my hunter? Stop your automation, I need you. You can probably deal with that on your own. Thanks to your stats. As long as it doesn't try wandering into a city, and succeeding to wander into a city. That bit's important to note. Still 100% chance to subdue the animal. Alrighty then, I'll take it. Even with combat 6. Right, I do need a trading post for a lot of the good stuff, so definitely need to get that built. Okay, I think my finances has in large part recovered. So llamas. Right, and go automate hunt. Oh yeah, I can't just build farms wherever it needs fresh water until I have canal systems. Okay, it's even funnier that pigs are considered in the list of exotic herbivores. March, please. Camp.
So perish everyone that shall hereafter leap over my wall.
Nice. That doesn't look great, Zimbabwe. City Council, nice. The Officium, yet another way to... Well, then again, it just replaces the tax person. Oh, the port. More trade routes. Woohoo. There we go, Public Works. Does speed up construction of quite a few things, and also gives me more science and culture. Well, not culture, but more science. Does cost me more money, though. A lot more money. Even more maintenance costs. Yippee. Let's Kava. Folklore, capuchin monkey. The New World monkey. Nothing. Wow, okay. What a turn! Bit unusual, a turn where literally nothing at all happens. There we go, the Serpent Mound. It is obsolete with theology, which is Middle Ages? Yeah, okay, so I don't have a huge amount of time with a wonder. But it's a helpful wonder. You know what? I think it's time to do another city setup. Okay, composite bowman, settler. Only 8 turns. What's really funny is that I actually have no access to fine clay. None. At least I'm pretty sure I don't have access to any sort of fine clay. So. Right. The beacon reduces the damage per turn from the Great Barrier Reef, making it easier to deal with, and also gives me more food and commerce from the tile. It's not amazing. Not yet, anyway. Ah. No humming pigeon stuff? Far fewer bad boys than exotic herbivores, so... Kangaroo herd. Random bird. Yeah. Do I send you here, or do I handle... Yeah, let's handle this once and for all. Amphibian pond. Drat. Forgot about the bears again. Let me examine the city. Does the courthouse actually reduce maintenance? by a lot. Okay, so it adds to the base maintenance, but reduces the percentage maintenance. That's actually helpful. The amount it does. Okay, fine. After it's done with the settler combo, I'll have it build a bunch of buildings that are designed to lower crime. Including the courthouse at the end. Oh no. What got destroyed? Oh, I didn't see it. Message log, tell me. Percussion instrument maker has been destroyed. No! No! The horror! Let's put it to the end of the list. Still maxed out subdue animal chance. Oh, time to add the new world monkey. Taxonomy lore. $4,200 signs per turn. Excellent. Yep, we're heading here. Yeah, okay. I think I should stop around here for the time being. Wow, you can reach that far? Okay. Okay. I think that's enough for the moment. Yeah, the settler should be safe to get to here. And can immediately start handling the copper, too. Can't handle the peat bog, so. Yeah. I've changed up my civics. Now I've got legislature and proletariat. Public works as well. Proper coinage. Open borders. Which is basically borderless, but with actual positives. In theory, I could close the borders, but nah. Trade is just way more valuable. Just give me so much more science, as well as a bit more production and food. Of course, the value of each trade route varies, but yeah. Pretty close to getting canal systems in order to further. So, from spread irrigation. And I can construct quite a bit of water moving things. Which should actually reduce the amount of the fire chance. Yeah, those events where building burns down, that's from flammability. And cities with high flammability tend to not do well. In other words, those building events, yeah, building burn down events happen more and more often. Oh well. I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye.